Alright, I think we are rolling. I don't know. Seem to be only capturing. Let's look at this. Display capture, yeah. Let's restart that. There we go. Now we're working. All right. I think we're good to go. What is up, everyone? Make sure I've got everything set up right. All right. Doing another live stream tonight. Probably going to be a shorter one, but we had some headaches last week, and this week I'm finally starting to make some progress. Haven't live streamed yet this week, I don't think. So definitely a bit slower than last week, but have actually been coding new things into the app, and we're going to do that for just a little bit tonight. I'll show what I've been doing. As you can probably tell by the title, right now I'm working on adding user courses. I'm still working on some behind the scenes stuff and hopefully having some courses available. What am I looking at here? And hopefully having some courses available for immediate download once the app starts. I'm gonna hop over here real quick and make sure that I've got this working right. I think so. I think we're good to go. So anyways, I'm trying to add in a feature which is going to let you download courses off the bat, which is going to be this global list. Right now, this doesn't go anywhere. Pops up a test course that I added. Hopefully there's going to be some courses here, a little search feature. So you can quickly add courses to the app. I'm not sure how exactly I'm going to accomplish that. I may just pick out a lot of major cities, disc golf areas, add some courses through that, but we'll see. But anyways, what is a must-have is the ability for the user to add their own courses, not only just for general courses, but say you want to put a Safari layout in there. You're not going to find that anywhere other than your own mind. You want to throw it into the app and play the AI on your Safari layout. You've got to be able to add the course in here. So that's what we're working on right now. Previously, the last time I live streamed, this button didn't go anywhere. That is not the case anymore. This is one of the bigger things I've been working on. So what we're going to show tonight. Yeah, I've got some vibrating going on. I wonder if the stream picks that up. Anyways, so you can put in course name, course location. These are not going to be, course name is required. Location is not required. You'll see on course name, it gives a little hint. So the idea here is that for courses that have for a course that has, let's say, 2 pin positions for every hole, it's got red baskets and blue baskets. It'll be easier in the app and easier for you playing it to just set them up as separate courses. So for example, we have the fort here in Utah, which is where 2021 Worlds was at. They have red, blue, and gold at that course. If you were to add all of them into one single course, you would have to, every single hole, pick which one you're playing. You could set it up at the start, but you could also just set them up as separate courses so that it saves you time in the long run. So that's the idea here. But yeah, so you type in a course name, and won't let you proceed if you don't. This button will say no course name. So we have to type in our course name. Location you don't have to put in. I think it makes it easier for people who are intending to have a lot of courses or maybe play some courses while they're traveling. Putting the location in probably helps. You select number of holes here. Pretty variable, it goes between 6 and 36. Standard set at 18, obviously. And then this 1000 rated. So this is automatically set at even. You don't necessarily have to change it, but for the sake of scoring being accurate from the standpoint of the AI, you do need to set it, and it's got the little info button here. Pretty self-explanatory, but the idea is you put in what score you think would shoot 1,000 rated, and this is a big factor in how the AI perform based on the division, tier, tournament, etc. that you select, is putting the score in right. So you just adjust it here. If we were at the fort, it'd probably be maybe an even, maybe a 1 over. And then we've got these two selections down here. So relative hole difficulties. So what the app does is, based on the information that you put in for the course and some other semi-random variables, we'll call them, it will create hole averages for every single hole, and it uses those hole averages to produce the scores of the AI. Those hole averages change again based on division and tier, but most courses, all the holes don't play the same average. You'll have holes that are harder, holes that are easier. You don't necessarily have to do that. So if you leave this as automatic, it means that all the averages are going to balance out to be the same, obviously, with respect to whatever the par of that hole is. The AI score at the end, so their total round score, will still be an accurate representation of what they should be, but there may be one hole on that course that nobody birdies. It's a 700-foot par 3. If this is on automatic, the AI may still birdie that hole, and then they may take a bogey on another hole that's really easy. Whereas here, you can, if you want to, have variable difficulties between the holes, set it as manual. That's actually probably something I'm going to work on tonight, is putting this functionality in. But the idea here is that you can make some holes harder or easier, or if a course is relatively similar, or you just don't necessarily care that much. Because at the end of the day, the total scores are going to balance out. It'll just be how realistic the individual hole scores are. If you want to customize that, you can. If you want to make it go a little faster, you don't have to. And then multiple pin positions here. So some courses only have multiple pins for a few holes. They don't have like a set red hole or red course, blue course. So if it doesn't make sense to set it up as an individual course and you want to add multiple pin positions, this is the easy way to do that. And this is in there so far. So I'm going to leave this as automatic right now. We'll enable this, go to the next view. And then this is what I'm going to work on a little bit tonight. So essentially this is what we're going to build out. It's going to ask you for the information for every single hole. If I were to disable the multiple pin positions, it'll only ask you for the par and distance for each hole. If you enable it, it'll then ask you for the pin positions as well. And so for hole 1 here, we have par and distance. If I say there's 2 pins, we have a pin A, pin B, enter in the par and distance for each. As of right now, these are just selectable, and then the whole distance you type in. I'm going to work on making this a numbers only keypad, but just to hopefully speed the process up a little bit. I'm trying to think of a way to do this faster, specifically the distance. If you don't care about what the whole distance says, I will make it so that you can just leave all of these blank, or however many you want to leave blank, and for every distance that's blank, it'll just automatically assign a value of 300. 300 feet or 100 meters, or understood that those are not the same distance, but it'll set a default value is what I'm getting at. So it's not like it's not going to show a distance if you don't put it in, but it's just going to put the same distance for every single one, just so there is something to be shown. And distance here won't necessarily affect how the AI play. This is more just for your viewability and making it look nice and clean. So this is what I have so far. I think right now I'm going to work on this relative hole difficulty. So that is going to be a scale from 1 to 10, and I'm going to do it via a slider. So I guess let's think about where I want that to go. Probably just under distance is where I'll put that. So I'm going to go down to distance here. This is my text for reading the distance. And this hole difficulty is going to be relative to the course. So if you were to imagine all the holes on the course, it's going to be a scale from 1 to 10. If it's the hardest hole on the course, it's probably a 10. If it's the easiest course, it's probably a 1. Or easiest hole on the course is probably a 1. And then everything else can fall somewhere in between. You can set them all at 5, which wouldn't really make sense if you were doing it manually, but you could. And the code will then adjust the whole averages calculated based on that number put in as well. So I do already have a slider in the app on the tournament leaderboard, and my intent is to just take that functionality and copy it over, which is way down here somewhere. Slider. All right. So we are going to copy this. We're going to go back to our page here, and then I think I didn't mean to open that. I think because I don't think I want the slider to be. I think I want the text above the slider. Here I have par next to it. I don't think there's room for that. And it needs to be clear as to what you're actually putting in. I could type out relative hole difficulty, but that seems lengthy. Be nice if I could say like hard and easy on either side, which I could. I definitely could. Something we have text, and then below it, slider, hard, easy. Let's just start with this. Let's go. I guess I've got this pulled up, right? I didn't scroll away from it. No, that's not the right page. Yeah, it's right there. Okay. So I don't need to keep that. I can leave that one there for now. Let's go here. I'm going to go copy the text. And this one is going to say hole difficulty. I'm going to need to create some variables to track this. So this is my file that I'm tracking all of the course variables. Add course data. Let's go static var new course hole difficulties. And that's just going to be an integer. Okay, so we have that. That's going to be our final variable that we're going to use to calculate everything and actually save the course. I've got a set of temporary variables here that we're just adjusting throughout the view. I think this should be a little bit more efficient to just use these as opposed to reading the final values. Shown pin numbers selected. So we probably want, let's bring it up here so everything's together. Selected relative difficulties equals 0. I probably actually want that to be a 5. Yeah, I think 5 is going to be middle of the pack there. We'll go a scale from 0 to 10 so that 5 is really in the middle. I'm going to go down here. I have to initialize that variable to make sure that I'm not trying to read values that aren't there yet, because I only want there to be the same number of values as the number of holes that the user suggested or user selected. So we add 5 here, and what this does is basically it just counts the number of holes that the user selected on this screen and then creates that number of instances within that variable. So that we're actually reading the right one. So we have that. Come down here, hole difficulty, and then that value is going to be selected relative difficulties hole and pin. We should want the pin, and I probably actually this is going to be interesting, because if I come here, let me test this. I don't think I've added this in yet. And I say there's 3, and I update this one, they all update, yeah. So we're going to need to fix that. Set to 5. So this needs to be a 2D array. Really, they all do. I'll keep it as that one for now. And then I'll go adjust these. I think that should have fixed the issue. Yeah, and it'll work if there's 0. All right, let's get the whole difficulty, and then I'll go adjust this par thing with them all changing at the same time. I do have par 2 through 6 available. Understood that 2 and 6 never really occur, but for someone wanting to have fun with a Safari layout, or if they're on a real pitch and putt course that is actually part 2s, you're welcome to set it up like that. So we're going to show the whole difficulty here. Let me format this. And then we're going to have a row. I'm just going to copy this text. Miss the R there. And then we're going to have constants on both sides. Sized box. It's the text field. Okay. So we can get rid of this because that's where our slider is going to go. And we're going to go constant here. Go away. Go away. I hate it. Stop. It's like I need that. It is helpful, but sometimes I really don't. I wish if there's maybe there's a really quick way to toggle it that I just haven't found yet. And so this one's gonna say easy. Let's make this 15. We'll see how small that is. 15. This one's gonna say hard. And then we're gonna go pull that slider. Copy it over right here. All that annoying blue text goes away, which is great. Probably need this to be a little bit smaller. All right, so value is going to be this. So we'll just copy that over here. It needs to be a double, which makes sense. Double difficulty. Difficulty to int, so we're just converting it back. Max, this I'll just hard code. This is interesting. Did I not set a minimum on it? Or does it just take the max and divide it by the number of divisions? It might. So if I just say this is 10, I was doing it, max was 18, and I was setting this to 18, so this, that was 1 to 18. I'm going 0 to 10, so this should be 11, I think. Let's give this a go. Let's see what happens here. Only valid value is 0. Pen is 1. Pen equals pen should definitely be 0. Let's see. Let's go back here. Maybe it's going to crash and I'm going to need to do some updates. That's okay. I got to figure out this extending outside the bounds issue too. But next. Seems to work. Yeah, crash there. Okay. And so the reason is that when I am selecting 2 pins here, it's not adding another value to the whole difficulties for it to calculate. It's the same reason or along the similar lines that all the pars were updating at the same time. That's what we need to do. What is the easiest way to do this? Because do I want to constantly update those values every time the user adjusts the number of pins? I could. I certainly could. I'm going to need something like that to do it. So every time the number of pins is changed, I don't need set state twice. No, not refactor. Format. Just not formatting. Okay. It's fine. I'll do it myself. All right. So for every, so on value change, pin is going to be equal to the number of pins on that hole. What I need to do is make sure that the whole pars, distances, and difficulties all match that. Well, difficulties also should only show if that option was selected in the previous menu. So I need to go update that as well. One thing at a time. How do we get this to update here? So because it's not only adding, but if the user selects less pins and then subtract the same amount. So I need to check how many there are and then react accordingly. And think it through it. I can just do an if. This is my thought initially. It's greater than because those aren't even 2D. So we got to start with this. I need to basically do the same thing for these two that I did for the difficulties already. Pin counts doesn't need to be, I don't even have one for distances yet. That's an important one. Hence, let's just put that at 0. Okay. I think so. Then we're going to have the issue down here of adding. And we need to add distances. Okay. And we're still going to have issues when we're showing it. This now works though, which is great. And then we go else. Else if we need to check if it's less than, because if it's equal to, we don't need to do anything. There we go. Because if they select 3 pins, and they already had 3 pins selected, which I guess it shouldn't on value change. Else if is fine. Probably better to leave it as an else if than just an else and blanket statement in case anything happens that we don't want to happen. And so we're going to end up running for loops here. reformat this. Yep, go. I hate how I like the formatting for everything except for for loops. This one drives me crazy. It makes no sense. It is so much harder to read. Maybe there's a different way I'm supposed to be typing it to where it doesn't format it like that. I don't know. I just know I hate it. So instead we go through the process of doing that. Okay, so if the user selects more pins than had previously been selected, we need to go from is equal to the length of what was previously selected. So if pars is equal to 1, this is equal to 1. So for 1 is less than or equal to pin. I think that should be right. So if par length is 1, the user selects 2 pins. For 1 is less than or equal to 2, so it should run once. No. This should be less than, because we only went into 1 once there. We'll increment it. Selected par ints whole needs to add a 3. Selected pin count does not need anything. Pin numbers I don't think needs anything. We'll find out. Selected distances ints whole needs to add a 0. And then I don't know why this formatted this way, which is annoying. But this one needs to add 5. Whole. Okay, and then we're going to need something similar here. So this one, if the user selected 1, oh, I clicked on something over here. We still rolling? I think we still are. I'm just slow on my end right now. Looks like it. Getting distracted. Can't get distracted. Okay. Getting back here. If we previously had 2 selected, so that means the length of the par is 2. User selects 1. We need to go delete at that index. What's the best way to do that? This one's a little bit trickier. Is equal to pin. So if it's 2, it's equal to pin minus 1. I is no. That is not what I wanted. I wanted to go here. So this is equal to selected par ints whole. So this actually isn't changing. So if there's 2, this one's going to be equal to, this should be minus 1 actually. Because if the length is 2, then that means the index is actually 0 and 1. So if this is equal to 1, I is greater than or equal to pin. And then we need to decrement. Is that the opposite of increment? I don't know. and we need to remove at that index. I think it's that easy. And then we're going to try it. I wonder why I commented these out. I must have copied it over. Okay. I do have some error. What's the error here? Okay, and so I do need to update the par selection. Parents whole pen. Whoa. Of type object. Guess I'm confused there. Why is unvalue changed? Oh, because this is also not pen. There we go. Okay. Distance I should update. Let's update this one. So this is actually reading the right values. Unchanged. I'm sure I could set an initial value, but I guess I don't necessarily need to. Selected. Let's make sure this is a set state here. This copied over too. Set state. Select distances. It's equal to value. Because I'm reading distances, it only takes strings. That's good. So basically it's just going to try to convert whatever the user types into an integer. And if it can't do it, it will just automatically set it to 300. Which is fine. And it looked like, I can't really tell. It's hard to tell on mine. It looked like someone might have hopped in. If anyone actually watches this live, I do have chat up. You're welcome to say hi. Can't tell. May not be anyone right now. Anywho, so now we are actually changing the right whole distance value. I think that everything should be updating accordingly. I lost my buttons on this screen. I don't know why. All right. Add course. Test. Let's say there's 15 holes, just to prove that that works. Relative hole difficulties, we'll do manual, we'll do enabled here, just to make sure that everything is functioning at the same time. Didn't crash yet. That is good. We can select a par. We can type in a distance. We can adjust the difficulty. It is a little bit laggy right now. I don't think this is ever the case on an actual phone. And now the moment of truth. Didn't get it. The valid value is 0 and 1. So when I updated to, something about this did not work. Let's run a couple print statements here. Print adding pins. Removing pins. And then I want to come in here and print pars with added pins. And this we want to be selected parents. Yeah, I guess I don't need that. It's fair. Then we'll copy this. I want to make sure that these are actually running, and if they are, that they're running how I wanted to. So we got this print statements in. Let's just go and delete. We got the debug. Strange. I don't know why that's already popping up. Nothing has happened yet. Add course, test, manual, enabled. That did change that, which is interesting. Okay. We did only have 15, so that at least worked. All right. How come I have no output? That's strange. I'm gonna have to look at that. I don't know why nothing was output to this view. So that doesn't really help me much. Selected part ends whole pen. So the issue is that it's saying pen is 1 and pen is only 0. It only has the option for 0. So let me make sure here. So I go select 2. The length of that is 1. So this code should run. This length is 1. The pen value selected was 2, right? I guess this is the question, is pen here I'm trying to remember if pen is the index or if pen is the actual value selected. Because man, I really wasn't using a selected pen count ints for that whole. Is equal to pen. So I think it's the index. Just to test that theory. Pen plus 1, else if pen plus 1. Take 2. Let's do its little reset here. It's popping up that error just because I'm loading in code. Variables have changed. Wouldn't happen on the fresh start, but let's go test here. Confirm. This doesn't really matter. We can leave it there. Manual enabled. This still works just fine. If I go 2, it does still crash. Oh, I did get it here though, so I did address an issue there. I wonder if it's just an order issue. So maybe it's showing it, because this variable changing is what is trying to show additional pars. Seems like YouTube's trying to cut me off here. So ultimately, I guess what I'm getting at here, I think I need to swap this down below, and we'll see if that works. It's probably dangerous to put them that close together and not have like a wait until something is completed. I feel like in theory this should work just fine. What does it not like? do that for every single one of them? No, just the first one. That is strange. Okay. Let's refresh. We're back on YouTube. I don't know. May have never even cut out. I don't know. I'm gonna hop off this for the time being. It doesn't look like anyone else is on. We had one person, but they jumped off. I don't know. Not sure. But I don't need to look at chat if there's no one there. Dismiss, add a course. Run test again. Manual enabled. And still no. And so I guess my thought there was that this code was running. This is not. Because I'm not adding pen plus 1 here because it's still the index. All right, everything right now is pen plus 1, and I think, fingers crossed, that that one does the trick. Fingers crossed. Course test manual enabled. Okay. Par added 5. Oh, because it's the par index. So par index was 1, right? Selected parens needs to add 1. So we can update this. Let's go back. Hold distance is fine. Difficulty is fine. I can update these accordingly. They don't update together. I'm not even on the right ones here. Yeah. Okay, let's go all the way down to the last hole. Make sure that works. I'm not hitting any bounds there. Beautiful. Okay. So that works now. So now I can select multiple pens. These all will update accordingly. Okay. It doesn't look overly pretty. What I'm thinking about doing is wrapping these all in a box. I feel like that might look nice. Maybe. I don't know, but I need to do it for every hole. So we need to go from this text. Pins, distance. So 324, that's what I need to do. Let's try going to settings, because I know I wrapped things in boxes in there and it doesn't look good, but it's at least what I would be going for. Decorated box, that's what I was doing. Okay. So I need to wrap it in a decorated box. We can start with that. So I need to go from here to, if this doesn't look good, we should be able to quickly undo it. No refactoring available, really? You're gonna make me copy all of that? This is annoying. I think it's literally gonna make me copy that. Go away, go away. Add holes. That needs to come in here. Won't even let me format that right now, which is annoying. All right, and then everything that I just highlighted once, we're gonna highlight again. I don't think I need that. And we're gonna try this. Settings. Column children. Get rid of those bugs here, and then we don't have any errors, which is good. I don't know if this is what I want it to be here. Let's see if this breaks everything. So it wrapped everything. Whereas I only wanted it to be for each hole. So I did that. Okay, we're just gonna undo. Decorated box needs to go inside of that. Is this how I had it set up initially? Does that look right? Yes? Okay. I need that decorated box to go inside of here. So we go back, copy, go away. Let's copy this. Add holes. Oh, and so this actually needs to be in a stack, doesn't it? Okay, children, and then we have this 4. So this is going to be easier if I just go back here and copy all of this again. Just so I can see what additional formatting needs to be done. Let's copy. Column, decorated box, children, stack. Where did that come from? That still needs to be within the list view. And are we not good then? What am I missing here? Children column. Box decoration. Decorated box, children. Well, box decoration is here. I see, so we don't need that. Decorated box, children, stack, children. And that should be good. I don't know. Oh, the children's in the wrong spot, isn't it? because this still needs to fall underneath that. Go children. Man, I feel like I'm doing more harm than good here. Just work for me. At a point where I'm like probably unnecessarily nervous that I'm gonna start breaking things. Center scaffold. So that is our stateful builder. I'm closer to being right, I think. What comes after center? Should go center. Is that it? Are we good? Did I fix it? Not quite. What does it not like? Errors down here. There it is. This is what it doesn't like. What is this? That should be the for loop. What is the for loop? And we've got another for loop. Okay. Now this is a mess. I want to format the whole thing. We'll deal with the crappy for loop formatting just for a second. I don't even know exactly where I'm at, so we're just going to refresh and hopefully it works out right. If I can get the boxes done and that looks somewhat decent, we'll probably call it. But we'll have to see. It's still, I did it. What did I even think that I was doing? All that effort, I just recreated the exact same thing. The decorated box needs to go within this for loop. So everything here, this is a sloppy way to do it. Children for every hole, everything in here is going to go within a column within this decorated box. So this needs to go away. Okay, let's start with this. Let me copy this column, which should be here. And we're going to copy it there. Okay? Step one is good. Format it again. Beautiful. Now within the for loop, hopefully do it right this time, I'm going to copy the decorated box. Inside of the for loop, there we go. Let's add in the appropriate code. decorated box. That's it. We have no errors. That is ideal. Can I format? I can. And inside of children is where we need all of this. I think it's easier if I go to the bottom first. This size box all the way up to the text. Why do I have an error there? Why do I have an error there? And this should not be there, right? How was that working before? Am I gonna have a bug now when I copy this? Yes. Definitely missed something there. The if statement. Nope, don't do that. Format one more time. There's a small chance that that worked. Aha. It doesn't look great, but it is there. Where's the bottom of that decorated box? Right here. This is gonna put a little space in between them. Ta-da! Okay. That could be worse. It could certainly be better, but it could be worse. It's expanding well. Beautiful. Can we add a little background to it? What are my options here? Color. I can just add a color. Color. Gray. Colors. That's probably a no-go, huh? But we're getting there. Baby steps, alright. Don't love the color initially, but it is nice to know at least that it's easy to add. I think I'm probably going to call it there. We've got some basic ad course info set up. That took me a little bit longer to do than I thought I was going to, but that's pretty much everything with this app. So actually starting to add in some important functionality, which is great. And again, I've said it in previous live streams, the goal is to get it to be functioning. During beta testing, everything may not look pretty. I just want it to work. And then you guys, with your feedback, can tell me how to make it look pretty. That's what I'm hoping. I'll do some work on my end, probably before beta testing. But I think I'm going to call it there. Probably the most productive live stream I've had in a while. Actually making progress. Albeit slowly, but we did it. So that'll wrap it up there. Thanks to anybody who watches this after the fact. If anyone is interested in joining the live streams live, as always, I would love it. Love to chat with you as I'm coding. Distract me even more. It'd be wonderful. But